Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome on into the hottest show on the streets, the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information. That being in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Also, happy International Women's Day to all my ladies out there. Gotta give a special shout out to my mom, my sisters, my aunts, all the healthcare professionals, nurses, doctors, women everywhere who do an amazing job supplying, providing what we need on a daily basis. It is your day. Happy International Women's Day to all my ladies out here across the world. And internationally, we're coming to you from the magic city of Birmingham, bringing you the show, streaming the show to you via YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, hit that thumbs up, like the show, run those likes up, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best in news, notes, alerts, and material when it comes to your Crimson Tide. Not only are we streaming this through YouTube, but we got you covered also on Facebook and Twitter as well. All forms of social media have you locked and loaded on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. So no excuse for you not to be tuned in to the hottest show on the streets. The show brought to you by WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That is WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Check them out right now. Copy that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, showing that support to Coach Saban, University of Alabama, the student athletes, and owning and or dominating the fourth quarter. Gotta give a shout out right now to Hank Braggin and Bama Show. Hank Braggin and Bama Show becoming the latest members to the TDA YouTube channel. Big shout out to Hank Braggin and Bama Show. And if you want to become a member to TDA on YouTube, all you got to do is check out the link there in the chat line and in the description. It will show you step by step on how to become a member to the channel here on YouTube. Also, got a couple of super chats to get to right now. So first off, Gucci Tide, that $5 donation via the super chats. Appreciate that love. They're coming from Gucci Tide and our own Waylon Colburn, Waylon of TDA, president of the chat line. Waylon Colburn, that $4.99 coming from Waylon. So appreciate Gucci Tide and Waylon helping us out today. Got a lot to get to, a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Can I shout out my man John Ivory one time in the production studio? And John, I am really happy. I am excited. I am jacked up. I am juiced up today. Now, for you all that know me, I'm excited every day. I naturally do not let anything dampen my excitement, my joy on a lot of things. But along with that, my excitement has variations of degrees, but excited every day. But really excited today because not this Friday, but the following Friday, March 19th, next week, spring football returns to the Crimson Tide. Spring football returns to the University of Alabama. And this time around last year, John, you and I were really excited to get back out there, to capture spring football, to capture the photos, the videos, all the excitement for the fans. Unfortunately, the coronavirus pandemic came in and we were not able to do that. But this time around next week, we're going to be back out there getting spring football, getting a lot of material, getting a lot of content, getting a lot of video, a lot of photos, a lot of things to have the fans really pumped up and ready to go for spring ball. So very excited about this. So for this show until spring football and throughout spring camp, I posed a question to the fans on Twitter on Sunday. And the question was for you out there, what are you the most excited about? What has you the most happy? What's got you the most joyous about spring football coming back? And I got like 70 to 80 comments in my Twitter, as far as the comments coming in. And I've decided to take those comments from you, the fans, and make some show topics out of these comments to really engage you guys, to get more of a dialogue started here, because once again, next week, spring football, we're about to have it back. in full swing here. So 205-448-1358. That's the number to let your voice be heard on the conversation. 205-448-1358. 205-448-1358. We want to hear from you. Also, that daily super chat goal, $75 daily super chats. You guys have been tremendous helping us out here at TDA. But we start the first topic of conversation with one of the questions and one of the thoughts from you, the fans. And it's on Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien here at Alabama. And among the 80 comments I received from Twitter, quite a few of them were on you guys excited about Bill O'Brien. You want to know, what is he going to do? What's his offensive philosophy? How is he going to help the quarterbacks? How is he going to help the running backs? How is he going to help the receivers? You guys really excited about what can Bill O'Brien do his first spring with the Crimson Tide back in college football at Alabama under Nick Saban with all of his talent he is going to get to work with. So the question I'm proposing to you, the fans, what should you expect? What should we expect from Bill O'Brien in his first spring? What should our expectations be? What should we anticipate in the first spring of Bill O'Brien, just geared toward he's replacing one Steve Sarkisian, and a guy of whom we look at that had Alabama last season averaging 48.5 points per game. That's the most of the Nick Saban era. That was the most in the SEC a season ago. Alabama had 11 40-point games of his past season. Sarkisian had this offense as electric as they come. And while there are times where we hate comparisons, we hate being compared to other people. I mean, in relationships, my men out there, in relationships, my fellas, you don't like it when your woman compares you to her ex. You can't stand that. But it happens because, the women look at, how is this man going to be different from my ex? How is this man going to make me better than, what my ex tried to do to me? And vice versa, for women out there, men hate it when we compare the current girl to our ex-bae. So comparisons are out there. In college football, where that is concerned, when you look at, Paul Bear Bryant, Coach Bryant was amazing here, but Bill Curry, Ray Perkins, they were always compared to Coach Bryant, and they could not really live up to what Coach Bryant was able to provide. That's the reason why the old saying is, you want to be the person that follows the guy that failed following the legend, because then the expectations aren't that high for you. But in the case of Bill O'Brien, what should we expect from him? What should our anticipation be? Should we expect for him to be Steve Sarkisian-esque here in the upcoming season? Because if you look at the career of Bill O'Brien, he was a head coach at Penn State, did a lot of big things there with the Nittany Lions, where the quarterback room was concerned, whether it was with Matt McGloin or Christian Hackenberg. He popped out, a 1,000-yard back. He popped out, a 1,000-yard receiver. He had playmakers at Penn State, and he was able to make that offense really successful prior to, of course, James Franklin coming into the fold there. I mean, after he left Penn State, he goes to before he went to Penn State, he was at the New England Patriots as an offensive assistant from 2007 to 2011, the biggest year, the 2011 campaign, where he was the offensive coordinator, and it was the lone season where Tom Brady had over 5,000 passing yards. He did big things with Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis at running back. He took the likes of Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez and made them big weapons there at a tight end position as receiving options. And then for the Houston Texans, we saw what he did with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, with DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver prior to Hopkins going to the Arizona Cardinals, and the tight ends that Houston had, and also the running backs the Texans were able to bring in. And I had a conversation with a dear friend of mine. The guy's like a brother to me. I had not physically seen him for about 2 years prior to a couple of weeks ago, he came down, we popped open a cold can of Sprite, and we had a conversation here on the couch. We talked ball for about 3 hours. And when I brought up the fact that O'Brien is now in Alabama, of course, my buddy, a Patriots fan, that's his team right there. So when I brought up O'Brien at Alabama, he was like, dude, you guys are about to average 52 points a game. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, you kidding me? He said, dude, you guys are about to average 52 points per game with Bill O'Brien. He said, hold on now, I'll scale it back. You'll average 42 points a game with Bill O'Brien, easily, 42 a game. But in my heart of hearts, y'all will average 52, but I'll scale it back 42. So that's kind of his expectation of what he wants to see from Bill O'Brien. But what do you as the fans expect from Coach O'Brien in his first spring here with the Crimson Tide? I'm going to give you sort of my expectations right now. So for me, when I look at Coach Bill O'Brien, and he enters a situation this spring to where he's got to replace the number one quarterback in Mac Jones, the number one running back in Najee Harris, 2 number one receivers in Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, 3 starters on the offensive line in Landon Dickerson, Alex Leatherwood, and Deontay Brown. So to me, here are my expectations for Bill O'Brien. First and foremost, at least, got to have a 3,000-yard passer. Got to have a 3,000-yard quarterback. And with him working with 3 very talented scholarship guys on the roster, Bryce Young, Paul Tyson, Jalen Milroe. I understand all 3 of these guys don't have the biggest of football experiences at the University of Alabama, but I do expect with Bill O'Brien's mindset of he puts a lot on the quarterback. He put a lot on Tom Brady. He put a lot on Deshaun Watson in terms of pre-snap and post-snap reads, checking the protection schemes, getting the team into the right play, doing a lot of play action, taking deep shots down the field, taking what the defense gives you, as well as making sure your offense is explosive. So Bill O'Brien did a lot of things there with quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's going to put a lot on whomever the starter is in Alabama. So at least a 3,000-yard passer. Behind that, I could see 2 1,000-yard rushers. I really can. And this goes back to O'Brien wants to use the running backs. He wants to have the balance. He wants to have the ground and pound. He used to rotate 2 and 3 backs in and out during his time at New England and with the Houston Texans. With Alabama having 7 guys on the roster, the last time it had 2 1,000-yard rushers was 2012. Eddie Lacy and TJ Yeldon. I can 100% see that happening. Behind that, I look at 3 800-plus yard receivers. 3 800-plus yard guys. Now, I expect to see a 1,000-yard receiver, and whether that's John Mechie, whether that's Javon Baker, whether that's Slade Bolden, or whether that's Jaleel Billingsley, I expect for at least to be 1 1,000-yard receiver, but at the least, 3 guys that can total at least 800 receiving yards or more. And then last but not least, I expect for Bill O'Brien to have his offense averaging at least 42 points per game. I know Steve Sarkisian had it at 48.5, that clip right there, but I expect Bill O'Brien on my end at least 42 points per game. But starting off this spring, getting the right guys with all this talent that you have to pop and be successful. But for you, the fans, what should we expect, or what do you expect this spring, first spring at Alabama, from one Bill O'Brien? We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, just getting started. As always, we appreciate you guys giving that thumbs up, liking the show, hitting that subscribe button, and turning those notifications on so you can have all the information on Bama football. When we get back, we'll take your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats on Bama football after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are rolling back in from the break on a Monday. Hottest show on the streets, number one forum here for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciating you guys hitting that like button, giving us that thumbs up, hitting the subscribe button, and turning on those notifications so that way you can have the best in news, notes, information, and conversation on your Crimson Tide. If you want to become a member to TDA on YouTube, you check out the link in the chat line and in the description. That link will take you step by step and show you how to become a member to TDA on YouTube. But as we're back in from the break here, folks, we go to the phone lines to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That is the number to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. We take a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen M. Smith, what's going on, man?
Doing well, and yourself?
Oh, man, I am doing great. So, Bryce Young is the new Alabama quarterback. How do you think he's going to do for the Crimson Tide next season?
We're starting off in spring ball. You know, Bryce is going to have a chance to really sort of push to win the starting job. Of course, he's got two guys he's competing with. He's competing with Paul Tyson. He's competing with Jalen Milroe. So whoever wins this job, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to show that you are the best player for this job. Bryce has a lot of talent. He's got a lot of gifts. He's got a lot of playmaking ability. We had a guy on the show by the name of Coach Keith Miller who scouted Bryce when he was in the 8th grade, and Coach Miller talked about how Bryce is kind of the magic man in the room. So going to be a very fun spring. Spring ball starts March 19th, so if he wants to take this job, he's going to have to start off by putting together a really good spring.
Absolutely. For Bryce Young, I agree with you right there. But anyway, yeah, for that, that's pretty much true. You have a great night, Stephen.
Absolutely. We appreciate that call in there coming in to start us off here on the show. As you continue to get your thoughts in, 205-448-1358. That's the number to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We got our topic right now, and it's Alabama continuing to build its coaching staff under Coach Saban, but this would be the analyst roles now. Alabama is done finalizing the on-field coaches, so now Nick Saban is getting the analyst staff prepared and the support staff prepared. On the support staff, he brought in Ron Cooper. The first analyst he brought in was Mark Orfrey, the 31-year-old out of Utah State, former defensive back coach for the Aggies. And now he's brought in Dave Huxtable, 64-year-old Dave Huxtable, former defensive coordinator out of the ACC. He was the DC at North Carolina State. He was a DC at North Carolina and a DC also at Georgia Tech. Last season, he was an off-field analyst at the University of Texas. He's got a lot of experience, but now he'll be at Alabama. He'll be on Coach Saban's staff as a defensive analyst. So Huxtable joining one Mark Orfrey on that staff as an off-field analyst. And this goes back into what Saban likes to do. He wants to continue to learn. He wants to continue to grow, expand his coaching tree far and wide, but he wants to continue to invest in himself and invest into the program. And with a lot of us, asking for this defense to be even better or get back to being, somewhat of the elite marquee defenses that we've seen in years past, part of that is having the great minds on the coaching staff. So having a young Mark Orfrey, that's a big deal. It really helps. And then having a guy in a Dave Huxtable at 64 years of age that has a lot of experience as a defensive coordinator. He's done it at the big programs. Like I said, did it at NC State, did it at North Carolina, did it at Georgia Tech, and he was even at Pittsburgh and UCF calling defenses. This past year was a defensive analyst at the University of Texas. So Dave Huxtable coming in here as an off-field analyst, off-field coach for the Crimson Tide for the upcoming season. But that's going to lead us into our next break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Continue, you guys, to like the show on YouTube, give a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and make sure those notifications are turned on as we continue to give you all things Bama football coverage. When we return, we're going to have my man Chris Franklin, who covers the Philadelphia Eagles for NewJerseyNews.com. The Eagles have committed. What? The Eagles have committed to Jalen Hurts being QB1. They are sold on Jalen. They have rolled the dice. They are moving with Jalen Hurts from here on out. We will talk to Chris Franklin and get his thoughts on this and what made the move happen for the Eagles committing to Jalen Hurts. We'll talk to Franklin after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are back in from the break here on the number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate everybody tuning into the show on this evening. As always, be sure to hit that like button, give us that thumbs up on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best in Bama football news. And also, if you're trying to become a member to TDA, check out the link in the YouTube chat line and also in the description. That link will take you step by step and show you how to become a member to TDA. But we going over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up my man Chris Franklin, who covers the Philadelphia Eagles for NewJerseyNews.com. Big news this week coming in on one Jalen Hurts. Chris, what's going on, man? Happy to have you in here.
Hey, thanks for having me back, man. Doing well, man. You're right. It was definitely some big news with Jalen Hurts.
Huge news here, Chris, with Jalen Hurts. So it came out today. ESPN's Chris Mortensen broke the news there on the Eagles, the front office with Jeff Lurie. They have committed. They have gone all in on Jalen Hurts. There were a lot of whispers about maybe the Eagles take the number 6 overall pick and draft the quarterback, or maybe they go out there on the free agent market and find somebody to compete with Hurts. But the Eagles front office is saying, this is our guy. We want Hurts. We like Hurts. We're trying to build around him. So my first thought is, what made Lurie and the Eagles front office sold on this? Like, at what point did you feel like, what made this move happen for Lurie and the Eagles fully committing to Jalen Hurts?
I really think it came down to the last couple weeks of the season where he started to go ahead and show his leadership capabilities. And I think it went into the offseason as well, too, with the news of him trying to gather a lot of the wide receivers, getting together as well, too. It seems like that Hurts has this ability to galvanize especially these young receivers and the young players of the team. And I think Lurie took a look at that and said, hey, you know what? I think we have a guy we should at least keep for at least another year and see if he's the guy to go ahead and lead the team. And I also think, especially with the Eagles having that 6th overall pick, you have to weigh some serious decisions. Is Hurts going to be the guy that can lead the team, or you weigh that against Ohio State's Justin Fields or BYU's Zach Wilson? And when you compare the two, I think that Hurts gives him a little bit bigger of an upside, and not only just intangibles when it comes to the physical ability, but also the intangibles with the leadership. So I think that is what really led to Jeffrey Lurie going ahead and say, hey, you know what, we're going to go another year with Hurts.
Now, when you look at just when Jalen played this past season down the stretch here, Chris, it felt like when he got into games, the team was more energized, the team was more enthused, the team was more pumped up, and they played harder. And we've even seen a couple of, Hurts' teammates in Philadelphia talk about his confidence, talk about his swagger, and what he brings to the table. So just looking at the energy that Hurts provides, how has his energy impacted the guys around him to make this decision easy for Lurie to do?
You mentioned he's right. I think especially when you look at a New Orleans game, I think when you saw that offense before that New Orleans Saints game, that offense was listless. For lack of better words, it was listless. They had trouble converting on third downs. They had trouble making big plays, and it became stagnant. And the little things that Hurts did, like picking up first downs with his legs, be able to go ahead and scramble around by time, especially with a patchwork offensive line. He was able to go ahead and make something out of nothing, and I think the team started to see that. And as they went on to play the Arizona Cardinals and the Cowboys, you started to see a lot of that stuff. And I think a lot of his teammates started to look around and go, hey, you know what? I think this is the right way to go. And I think another thing as well, too, another way you can see, hey, you know what? This team believed in him, especially his teammates. When they pulled him in that fourth quarter, that controversy when they pulled him in the fourth quarter, put in Nate Sudfeld, there were reports of a couple guys were a little upset that they had pulled him because they thought they had a good chance to win the game, and that would have knocked the Washington football team out the playoffs too. So he's garnered that respect not only with the young players but with the veterans. And if he goes ahead and just continues on this current pace that he has, he still has some stuff he has to work on. He still has to work a little bit more of his accuracy. He completed only 52% of his passes, but he's working with Patrick Mahomes' quarterback's coach, so you got to feel a little bit good about that. So if he continues to work on his physical stuff as well, too, and keep the intangibles that he has, I think it could be a very bright 2021 season for him.
Jalen Hurts is indeed working with one Bobby Stroop out of Texas. Stroop, a guy that knows Patrick Mahomes very well. Mahomes is quarterback coach. Mahomes is a mentor and a guy that helped Mahomes get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, that being one Bobby Stroop. We're joined here live with Chris Franklin on the phone lines. If you're just tuning into the show on a Monday, Franklin covering the Eagles for NewJerseyNews.com. The big news of the day, Jalen Hurts, Jeffrey Lurie, and the Eagles organization committing full on to Hurts, all in on the former Alabama quarterback who did spend 1 year with the Oklahoma Sooners. So, Chris, right now, one guy that Jalen is targeting in this year's draft class is one Jalen Waddle, a receiver from the University of Alabama, who also hails from the Texas area. When Hurts was addressed the question on which Alabama player does he feel like will have the best career from this draft class, he targeted Jalen Waddle. And both guys have a tremendous relationship with each other. And with the Eagles full-on committed to Hurts, so when you hear your guy, the guy that you just committed to say, I like Jalen Waddle. I think he's different. I think he's dynamic. I think he could have the greatest career of any of the Alabama players coming out in this draft. Is there a possibility that the Eagles, with the 6th overall pick, pair Waddle with Hurts? Do the Eagles get Jalen Waddle with the 6th overall pick?
I think it's a possible. I definitely think it's a possibility. I think it all hinges on where Jamar Chase goes from LSU. I think the big key is going to be to see what the Dolphins do with their number 3 pick. Because if Chase is picked by Dolphins, I wouldn't be surprised if one of two things happen. It's either they trade back, because I've seen a lot of things saying about Waddle being around the 9th, 10th, 11th pick. Either they trade back to get Waddle, or they take another Alabama wide receiver in Devonta Smith as well too. But you can't discredit what Hurts said, especially. He called him his little brother in a way. You can't, if he has that rapport with him, you have to seriously look at him. And look, I think especially if he didn't get injured, and even Mel Kiper said as well too, and I believe as well too, if Jalen Waddle had not gotten hurt, I think we would seriously be having a different conversation right now as who might be the higher prospect coming into this draft. And I truly believe that. I think they both they have different skill sets, but they both bring playmaking ability, and it's a tough decision, one that I wouldn't want to be the general manager right now. But if they do target Waddle, I think they can actually trade back a couple picks and pick up, because this team has so many holes, pick up a couple other draft picks and still take Waddle with it and help out Hurts.
Going to be a very interesting draft process indeed, as we got Chris Franklin, who covers the Philadelphia Eagles for NewJerseyNews.com, on the line, talking when Jalen Hurts, as the Eagles organization today has gone all in, full on committed to Jalen Hurts. This news came from Chris Mortensen of ESPN. But Chris, when you look at Jalen so far this offseason, he's working with with Bobby Stroup. He's working on his accuracy, his timing, his ability to maneuver through the pocket, get the passes downfield, get the balls going downfield to the wide receivers, the guys in stride. But when you look at just the offensive line that the Eagles are looking to put around Jalen Hurts in terms of building that protection for him, what do you like about this offensive line for Philly moving forward? Will this group be able to keep the young man upright as he looks to put Philadelphia into the playoffs for the upcoming season and for years to come?
I think if they remain healthy, I think they definitely could. I mean, last year they used 14 different combinations out of 16 games. I'm pretty sure they probably would have called you or me to go ahead and fill in for a couple of those things, a couple of those games to go and protect Hurts. But
Chris, don't ever put me in that spot again. I'm barely 185 pounds, Chris. I ain't trying to get killed.
Hey man, they needed some help. They really needed some help at one point. I think they were calling everybody. But you start to look. You have Lane Johnson, a former All-Pro, perennial Pro Bowler, coming back. Brandon Brooks. I mean, there's been talk that the Eagles were trying to deal him, but I don't foresee that happen. I foresee him coming back. So you have two All-Pro caliber guys on his right side. You got Jason Kelsey coming back. And you have the only question I probably would have would be on that left tackle spot. I mean, you had former first-round pick Andre Dillard returning back from his biceps injury. And you got Jordan Mailata. He's still pretty green, but he showed that he was able to come in and go ahead and play pretty well in pass protection on that left side. So otherwise, if that offensive line stays healthy, he can go ahead and get the time that he needs. They're experienced, they're mobile enough, they're very athletic. So I know I keep saying this, if they remain healthy, he can definitely go ahead and have some time to go ahead and do some things.
Last one here from our end, Chris. We're talking to Chris Franklin here on the phone lines, covering the Philadelphia Eagles for NewJerseyNews.com. The big news, Jalen Hurts, the Eagles all in, committed on him being QB1 for the franchise. Chris, new coach in here now for Philadelphia. No more Doug Peterson, new guy in here. What do you expect the coach-quarterback relationship to be between Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' new head coach here? What sort of philosophy and dynamics is he going to look to bring to not only make Jalen feel comfortable, but really maximize his entire skill set at quarterback?
It helps that you have a guy who used to at one point be a quarterback's coach. I also think it helps that you have a guy who used to be a wide receiver coach, Nick Sirianni, as well too. So I think he's going ahead. I think everybody who's talked about him that came from the Colts said he's a very open guy. He's a very passionate guy. I wouldn't be surprised if you see them actually, and he talked a lot this in his introductory press conference. He wants to tailor the offense around the players that are going to make it go. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and he actually tries to tailor the things that he does well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of RPOs. Still see them using the read option as well too, and utilize Jalen's legs in order to open up some running holes and also keep some guys possibly keep a spy, which opens up things as well too. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of 11 personnel and 3 wide receiver packages, because we're looking back when Sirianni was the offensive coordinator there in Indianapolis, they used it as much as 70% of the time. So that opens up. If you go ahead and spread the field with those wide receivers, say if you do get a Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith, you still have Jalen Reagor, their first round pick from last year. And you have Travis Fulgham as well, too. If you get those 3 wide receivers, along with Miles Sanders as a running back and Jalen Hurts at quarterback, you have a lot of options you can do there. You have a lot of speed. It's going to create some matchup problems for these defensive coordinators. Oh, I forgot Dallas Goedert, tight end. He's a guy who can go ahead and he's an athletic guy who can run down the field, too. So it's going to be imperative that Sirianni does scheme up this offense around Hurts, because they have some pieces there to be successful.
A lot of excitement going on in Philadelphia, starting off with today, the Eagles locking all in, going all in commitment with one Jalen Hurts at quarterback. He's Chris Franklin covering the Philadelphia Eagles for NewJerseyNews.com, helping us out here on a Monday to talk one Jalen Hurts, and the news coming from Chris Mortensen at ESPN with the Eagles committing to Jalen Hurts. Chris, appreciate you coming on, giving us the nuggets, the lowdown, the information on the Eagles organization. And it's moving forward with Jalen Hurts as QB1. You stay safe, man. Take care of yourself. Be good.
Thanks. You too now. If you need an agent for offensive line, man, just give me a call.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, I would not have them give me a call to be an offensive lineman. No, I would not have them give me a call. I mean, 185 pounds. They would try to kill me day one on the line, but Chris, we appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you, man.
Appreciate Chris Franklin coming on, talking about the Philadelphia Eagles with us here on the show as the organization committed and full on to Jalen Hurts being QB1. Going to be some exciting things taking place here in Philly. But we take a break right now. As always, Tide Nation, be sure to hit that thumbs up, run those likes up, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so you can get all the information on your program, that being the Crimson Tide. Upon our return, we jump back into the phone lines and have a dialogue with you, the Bama fans, right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And we are back in from the break to the action here on the number one ticket for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate everybody tuning into the show on today. And got to remind you guys of mybookie.ag. That is mybookie.ag, latest sponsor here to TDA. So you feeling fortunate, you feeling lucky, you feel like you got the skills to pay the bills and wagering on these Alabama football games. You check out our guys, mybookie.ag. You make the right play, sign up today, and when you do, you use the promo code TDAlabama to get that deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. And one more time for the little old lady in the back. What I said? You can't beat it. So check them out right now. mybookie.ag. That's mybookie.ag. Use the promo code TDAlabama. Get your win on right now. We go to the phone lines to take your calls. 205-448-1358. That's the number right there, 205-448-1358. And we take this call from my man, Senator Hines. Senator, brother, what's going on?
Man, they said y'all been looking for me, so I had to jump on the phone line since I'm on the road, man. I had to jump on the phone today and listen in, man. But they said that the Blue Ridge gang been looking for me, so I had to check in with the family, check on my big brother Steve. What up, Steve?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Yeah, man. They had to put an APB out on you, man. They had to put an APB out on you, man. Like they were they were getting scared for a minute, man.
No, man, I still been following, man. I have to catch a lot of shows the day after, on the replays or whatever. But, man, I'm excited about Bill O'Brien, man. I'm liking the energy and all the reports. I'm seeing some of the dashboard talk. It's just a sense of, like, no let-up, even with all the transitions we went through going into the offseason. I just feel like we were prepared for everything and, Bill O'Brien coming in, I kind of get a sense that, our players' level of preparation is going to be on another level this year, just by the staff that was brought in. You think of all the knowledge and the experience alone, just the years. You got like over, 120 years worth of football combined in your main coordinator positions alone. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's like one of those things where you sit back and you're like, man, what are we looking forward to? I'm really the only thing I'm ready to see what pans out. I know the quarterback competition is going to be good. I think Bryce will get the nod to be QB1 to start off. It'll be his job to lose, and Paul Tyson will be more than prepared to take the reins and not lose them. To be honest, I believe Paul Tyson's the better answer right now, going through a transition year with the offensive line. But I'm excited to see what the offensive line is going to pan out to be. We know we're assuming there's 3 spots already locked down, but it's so much young talent that had to sit last year, that I'm ready to see, man. So I think Bill O'Brien has a good little blueprint foundation, to excel from and just take off from. Schematically, I honestly don't see anything changing much. Maybe run block scheme, based off of what he did at Houston. I think he'll try to implement some of that, next level run blocking scheme with all the athleticism we got across the front. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm just happy to be back on the line with you guys, man. I really do love this TDA, this outlet, man. It's a personal thing for me, man. And that Blue Ridge game, y'all keep turning up, man. I'm coming back. I'll be on Wednesday for the YouTube chat, man. But I miss my family, man. And y'all stay up, man. Roll Tide.
Appreciate that call. Been coming from our own Senator Hines, checking into the line right here on a Monday. I guess what I'm looking forward to start this spring is 2 things. Number one, I'm looking forward to seeing how many people will be in the stadium for A-Day, because they're trying to get more people in there for A-Day. I know they're charging, I think $10. Greg Byrne was talking about charging $10, per ticket there for A-Day. So how many fans will be in the A-Day game? And then number 2 on my end this spring, number 2, will media be allowed in? That'd be the second thing. Will they allow media in to watch the actual practices? I know Coach Saban, Greg Byrne are trying to continue to adjust with the COVID and things of that nature. Will they allow media in? Because if they do, we are going to be in there getting you the information, getting you the content, getting you the pictures, the photos, the videos, that type of thing right there. So will the media be allowed in, number 1? and then how many fans would be at the A-Day game. Those would be the two things that I would keep my eyes on when you talk spring football. But we take another call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on? Live on the show, call. What's going on? We lost that call right there, but continue to get your calls in, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. That's number 2. Call in to get your voice be heard here on the show. But one guy that is working hard so far in the offseason program is DJ Dale, going into his junior year on the defensive line, and Alabama's director of performance science, Dr. Matt Ray, is trying to get him strong, not just stronger, but trying to get him faster, trying to get him quicker upon the snap of the ball. Dale, a native of Birmingham, an alumnus of Clay Chalkville High School, came to Alabama in 2019 as a 4-star and did some big things in the spring of 2019. He had a lot of people very high on him, excited about him. His freshman year had a pretty solid year, a pretty strong year. Now, he missed the last 3 games of that season due to a knee issue. And then, of course, last season, played in all 13 games, but there were times where he was just dominated upon the snap of the ball, didn't get the push, didn't get the fierce penetration into the backfield, didn't quite have that ferocity, if you will, as a defensive tackle. And I understand, coming back from a knee injury, that's a pretty difficult thing there. So hopefully this season he's back on his game, he's back on fire, he's back, making plays there in the backfield, because he does have a lot of talent. However, he does have Big Tim Smith, who ain't playing around on his heels, and other guys behind Big Tim Smith. But we take a call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Steven, I'll tell you what, man, this Monday, I'll tell you what, you better go down to Aunt Emily's, get you a piece of that pound cake. It'll give you the hot to trot. I'm telling you what, the Blue Ridge game's looking good here. The chat, cities, towns, countries, and states. We're having a good show tonight. TDA appreciates that. Yeah, this spring football, I tell you what, I think spring has sprung here. I got a little, it was tickling me all over, I think. Can you feel it, Steven?
I can feel it, man. I can feel it. I mean, I can feel it right now. The wasps are back out. The bees are back out. I'm just ready for the freshly cut grass and some football.
I see it. I just wanted to call in there and holler at everybody, and we may have a little good news there. We're looking at some stuff I may run for Senator Shelby's seat there through the advisements of my attorney, which was a representative for us in the state of Alabama for 14 years. I hope I get to run there. I don't know yet. Everybody's asking me. I'm just going to take it week by week and give advisements. And if we get a yes, we may do that. And if we don't, we won't. But we're going to try it, baby. We're going to try it. You never know. Do you knock on the door? Somebody may open it. But all right, everybody's looking good. Y'all stay safe. Be back on Wednesday. I love every one of y'all. I'll see y'all Wednesday. Bye-bye, Steven.
Appreciate that call. They're coming from weighing and running for senator. You know what? He got my vote. He got my vote. Weighing and running for senator. He got my vote. We're going to take a call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Steven, what's going on? How you been?
Doing good. Coach Rich, what's happening with you?
Oh, not a whole lot. I've been listening to you and all. I've just been real busy with all my fishing tournaments lately. But I heard y'all talking about Jalen, and that's, I keep up with all the Alabama players in the NFL. But ever since, I've been, there's a lot of mock drafts had Justin Fields going to them and all the, stuff with Carson Wentz and everything. And I thought they was going to be just a fool if they even considered it. And I think that's why the owner of the team come out today and said that it was going to be Jalen Hurts moving forward, because it don't matter who the quarterback is. If you can't help him, I mean, you're never going to, beat anything. And whether Jalen is 7-9 next year or whatever it may be, I mean, he is definitely an NFL quarterback. And his last game, I've never seen him get so upset when they set most of the roster and then took him out in the fourth quarter to put their practice squad quarterback in. Boy, he got upset. He comes from Alabama, and one thing that Saban teaches them boys is go out there and win. There ain't no tanking at Alabama. You remember that? Against
I remember
Washington.
that. I mean, Jalen was very upset when Nate Sudfeld came in the game. He was mouthing the words, "Boy, this ain't right," and it wasn't right. And Coach Rich, I mean, you're right about this. The one thing Philly needs to do is draft a receiver in this first round with its 6th overall pick. It released Deshaun Jackson this offseason, who was its kind of instant offense guy. And the one guy in this draft class that's instant offense is Jalen Waddle. He can do it from the kick return, the punt return. He can take a 5-yard pass and burn him for a 95-yard touchdown. So if I'm Jeff Lurie and I've just said that Jalen Hurts is my guy, and I heard my guy Jalen Hurts say, I like Jalen Waddle, then say less. I'm taking Jalen Waddle with the 6th overall pick if I'm the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And from what I've been recently, hearing, both Devontae and Waddle chose Mac, but I think that has nothing to do with it. I think the Dolphins sitting at number 3 are going to trade back. So the first receiver off the board will probably be number 6, and that's going to be the Eagles' pick. So both of them be sitting there, and I guarantee you mark my words on this, they're going to take either Waddle or Devontae. That's who they're going to get to happen. And I'll have to pull for the Dolphins and the Eagles then.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. We appreciate that call coming in there from our own Coach Rich out of Roanoke talking the NFL draft when you look at Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. Jalen Hurts said he wanted Waddle. He said Waddle's his guy. He wants Waddle. He's got a relationship with Waddle. He respects Devontae Smith also, but with Waddle and Hurts both coming from the Houston area, if the Philadelphia Eagles take Waddle with the 6th overall pick, it's going to be crazy in Philly. Now, I'm waiting to see what does Waddle run in his 40 time. Can he hit between 4.25 and 4.30? Can he hit below, 4.25? All that remains to be seen. But just my final thoughts here on DJ Dale. Hopefully he can have a good, strong junior season as he is working with one Dr. Matt Ray to get his speed up to par and in order. We take a break right here on the show. As always, Tide Nation, continue to give a thumbs up on the show. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button also. Turn those notifications on so that way you get the best in news, notes, and coverage on your Crimson Tide. But upon our return, we break down the linebacker position for spring football. Inside linebackers, outside linebackers. We break down the returning names, the experienced guys, the young talent. We analyze and dissect the linebacker position right after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we are back into the action here, folks, from the break. Number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, notes, information, and commentary. That being in my own words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate everybody tuning in to tonight's show. And before we dive into the final topic of conversation, got to remind you guys of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So for all you fans still overjoyed with the Tide's National Championship, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. Grab you 18 of them things, faux t-shirt, hoodie, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs which features all 18 championship years on the back of those shirts. You head over to TDAwear.com. Do it right now. TDAwear.com and go to the Championship Collections tab and get you that merch today, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But we now get into breaking down the linebacker position for spring football. We look at the inside backers, the outside backers, the experienced guys, the leadership guys, the young talent, the contributing guys, just looking at the competition that's at the linebacker position coming up here as we get into spring ball, which starts on next Friday, March the 19th. So for starters here, we look at this from the inside backer position, from the middle linebacker spot, because Christian Harris, as I've been told, Alabama's going to keep him at weak side linebacker. They want him to be the playmaker, the see ball, get ball, hunt the ball type of guy. So they're keeping Christian weak side, which means at middle linebacker, here is one of the big pieces of conversation. And right now, Jalen Moody is getting the first crack at that middle Mike linebacker position. And he deserves to get the first crack at it just due to coming into his senior year, 6'2", 225-pounder out of Conway, South Carolina, former three-star, came in for the injured Christian Harris against Arkansas and played a very, very, very sound ball game, played really well. He's got the ability to not only the lateral quickness and the ability to run sideline to sideline and shoot the gaps, make plays, make tackles, defend, play coverage, that sort of thing, but he's also got the mindset to get guys in the right spots, to get the chess pieces in the right order, to set the defense up to go on that attack. So like what Jalen Moody can bring, what he can deliver here to the table. But also, it's the conversation that U.S. fans have about, can we get back to having the reemergence of a dominant defense, of a big-time defense, of a marquee defense. And part of having that marquee group on that side of the ball is having an anchor, having a captain in the middle that you feel comfortable about, that you feel strongly about, that you feel like as a fan, we put this guy in the middle of the Alabama defense, he is going to make some plays. So the question is, are you comfortable with Jalen Moody, or are you comfortable with the field? The field is everyone else this spring battling for that Mike linebacker position. When you look at a guy like a Shane Lee battling for, if not Shane Lee, you got some other guys here on screen, some young guys. When you talk Jackson Bratton coming from Muscle Shoals High School in North Alabama, he's in his second year at the program. When you talk Deontay Lawson, he's a freshman in here, and at 6'3", 225 pounds, he reminds me of a young Dante Hightower. Young Dante Hightower mixed with Rolando McClain, so to speak. So Deontay Lawson, here's a guy in here that's being groomed to be a Mike linebacker. And then behind him, you've got Ian Jackson out of Prattville, Alabama, of whom he's looked at to be, he can play Mike or weak side. So he's kind of giving you that Rashawn Evans type of vibe, can play both weak side and Mike linebacker. So you've got Jackson Bratton, Deontay Lawson, and Ian Jackson in the field. Also Shane Lee in there as well when you talk about spring football. So are you more comfortable with Jalen Moody running this defense from that Mike linebacker position, or are you more comfortable with the field of guys and discussing Shane Lee, Jackson Bratton, Deontay Lawson, or Ian Jackson? But this is just that Mike linebacker, that middle linebacker position in spring practice. Now, aside from that group, you've got the outside linebacker group. And first and foremost, you have the two leaders in Christopher Allen and Will Anderson. And the next step for these two guys taking on that leadership role is a big deal. Chris Allen this past season, he showed you, when I'm finally healthy, when I'm 100%, when I'm at peak power and full strength, I'm an animal, I'm a dog, I'm a monster. I can give you 13 tackles for loss, which he did. I can give you 6 sacks, which he did. I can give you quarterback hurries, which he did. I can be a true edge setter, which he was. So the question is, can he take that next step in being a leader on that, have been the extension of a defensive line and outside linebacker. Can Allen take that next step in improving upon his numbers that will start here in spring football? Can he improve upon those numbers of getting to the quarterback? Can he improve upon those numbers of getting more tackles for loss? Can he improve upon those numbers of drawing a double team and allowing more guys to knife their way in the backfield and create those sacks? Because I feel like it's going to be sort of pass rush by committee this season, starting off in the spring, but you're going to look for a lot of your experienced guys to spearhead that pass rush as well as create double teams to allow other players to knife their way in and drop the quarterback as well. That's the main thing that Coach Saban likes to talk about, is getting that rush to opposing quarterbacks from different angles, different sets, out of different formations, creating that havoc on the field. So that's Chris Allen. When you look at Will Anderson, him taking that next step in year 2, for me with him, it's finishing sacks, right? Because last year, he could have had way more than 7. He was always near the quarterback, around the quarterback, but just could not secure the play. Now, he led, the SEC this past season for quarterback pressures. I believe he had 62, something like that, around that 62 area right there, that number, but could have had more sacks. His goal this season is securing those sacks, is securing those tackles on the quarterback for a loss there in the backfield. If Anderson can continue to grow in that area, the sky is the limit for him when you discuss him possibly chasing after the school's single season sacks record, or the school's career sacks record for years to come. But starting just this spring, him putting himself in the situation where he can chase the school's single season sack record. But that's just Chris Allen and Will Anderson. Behind those two, keep your eyes on Drew Sanders and King Wakuda, because these two are the next wave of outside linebackers. For Drew Sanders, can he break through, crack through, get on the field more at that position? He's worked with David Ballou. He's worked with Dr. Ray. He's getting stronger in the weight room. He looks like a grown man. And I remember when both Will and Drew both got in here for the 2020 class, I talked about it. This is Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson reincarnated, so to speak. For Drew Sanders, he kind of reminds me of that angry man and Ryan Anderson. Drew plays angry. Can he get out there on the field, make a name for himself? Because he's the next wave. And along with him, King Wakuda. This is a big year for him, a marquee year for him. Coming in that 2019 class, a 4-star from Georgia, he's got to pop this spring. If he doesn't pop this spring, then you could definitely see Wakuda hit that transfer portal just due to a lot of the big talent that Alabama has recruited at outside linebacker, especially when you look at Chris Braswell isn't here, Quandarius Robinson isn't here, Keanu Colt isn't here, Dallas Turner isn't here. There's a lot of talent at that outside linebacker position. So for King Wakuda, if he's going to pop this spring practice right here. But definitely keep your eyes there on Sanders and King Wakuda. But as always, people, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your Crimson Tide. You can do this by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You can access the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. As always, Bama Nation, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link's in the description. Also, if you want to cop that print magazine coming soon, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join. You become a member. The touchdownalabama.com. to get that print magazine coming soon. That link is in the description. You can also copy that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That link in the description also. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, the legitimate thing, the honest thing to not be bored. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, spit in my own words.